Hello and welcome to Women Engage. We are so glad that you could join us today. We've got a really great topic to discuss. We're talking about infidelity in marriage. And if you would like to engage with us with the topic and engage with one another, please follow us on our Facebook page, look for Women Engage, and get involved in the conversation. So for now, I would like to introduce our panelists for today. And ladies, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, tell us your name, and tell us how long you've been married for. So I'll begin. My name is Jocelyn Isabirie. I've been married for 18 years.
My name is Debbie Maloba, and I have been married for 20 years.
My name is Rose Misati, and I've been married for 15 years.
My name is Phoebe Yamache. I was married for 10 years, and now I'm separated for the last 3 years.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, ladies, for coming to have this really important discussion. We're talking about infidelity. Now, we're all church people here. So is this something that we need to talk about even within the church? Does infidelity happen even among Christians?
Yes, infidelity happens even among Christians, and it's real. But the silence is the one that is very loud.
And so that's why we need to talk about it.
Yes, we need to break the silence.
Excellent. I think maybe before we even go further into the topic, I think we need to define what we mean by infidelity, or having an affair, as it's commonly called. So what would we characterize as having an affair? You know, if someone said, well, it wasn't really an affair, that kind of implies that maybe there's a line where you cross that line and it becomes an affair, and if you don't cross that line, it isn't. So when we're talking about having an affair or infidelity, what exactly would we say? What is our general consensus of what we're talking about?
I would say it's a situation whereby one partner, one spouse, gets sexually involved, actually even emotionally, with somebody else who is not their spouse.
Okay, so it's interesting because you bring in the dimension of emotional as well as sexual. Why is the emotional important? Why isn't it just sexual?
Because more often than not, emotional infidelity leads to sexual infidelity. And when there is a sexual act that has followed emotional infidelity, emotional attachment, it becomes very difficult to break that one, as opposed to where it was maybe what they call a fling or a one-night stand. So where the emotions are involved, it becomes very difficult to break.
And I think what's really interesting is I think the definition of infidelity really goes to the heart of what we think sex in marriage is for. Marriage is not just a physical union of genitals. You know, it is, it's a union of heart, it's a union of body, it's a union of soul, a union of mind. And so anything that breaks that union, whether it's physical or emotional or spiritual even, then is a break of the covenant. And I think we also have to acknowledge that infidelity can be done by either males or females. And I think also we need to address some myths. The first one is the myth that infidelity only happens when you have a bad marriage. And I think it's a very important myth for us to address because, you know, we might have a viewer out there who thinks, well, I'm married to a good man. You know, we have a good, we don't fight. We don't have major issues, so it can never happen to me.
I remember not a very long time ago, one of the celebrities in Kenya actually shared publicly he had been involved in an affair, and this girl got pregnant and she got a child. They went public, and he said his marriage was good. They didn't have any issues, no fights with the wife. But then he realized that they were not emotionally connected. Each of them was busy, and for some reason there was a gap. So at the workplace, interacted with this girl, and they became friends, and they became emotionally connected. Before he knew it, they had sex, and she got pregnant. So I like what he said, because he said when the wife realized she didn't fight, she just packed and left. She told him, I give you time to sort yourself, then we talk about it. After some time, they came together, they talked about it, and they identified the reason, because they thought the marriage was good, so they were not making much effort, and they were not fighting, they were not quarreling, but then the affair happened. Yeah, So I just wanted to confirm what you're saying, that infidelity does not only occur in bad marriages.
Yeah, and also when your marriage is a kind of, you have a style of communicating, you know each other, you understand each other, you do not forget that we are human beings with all our weaknesses. I may say I'm strong in this area, but weak in another area. There are times you do not, it's not your willing to do such a thing, to go beyond to cross the boundaries. But you find yourself in a situation where, because of the weaknesses,
Yes.
because of our nature, human being, you find yourself doing something that you never thought about.
Yeah.
This one. Because you have that communication, because you trust each other, it's easy. It's easy even to resolve. It's easy to, when you discover that you have gone beyond, quickly you come and you resolve it, you express it, you explain. I think you're married because you have harmony in your, that strength will help you to cover and even to forgive.
So to say that contrary to popular belief,
Yes.
marriage is not actually a solution to sexual temptations as such.
No.
Yeah? So the sexual temptations, you need to fight them each and every day. As
Yes.
Paul says, we die daily and we share and we are very open, because what cannot be acknowledged cannot be healed.
Yes.
So we need to acknowledge temptations are real, but how do we keep ourselves in the straight and the narrow?
So it calls for vigilance.
Exactly.
It calls for
Ceaseless
vigilance in our marriage, dying to sin daily, both partners dying to sin daily, dying to ourselves daily, and not only allowing ourselves to be alive in Christ, but allowing that newness to also come out in the way that we interact with our spouse.
Every day.
Yeah.
And let me just say something about emotional infidelity. A number of ladies have confided in me that they have found themselves being emotionally connected to colleagues even at the workplace. Because, women speak a lot. That's the way we were created.
Yes.
And sometimes for some reason you may find our partners don't have that much time, and because we also don't spend so much time. So because we spend a lot of time at workplace, they have shared that they found themselves getting so connected that when this man doesn't come to work, you feel like, oh, and you find like you're looking forward to going to work to be with them. And at that point is when somebody needs to put checks and balances, because it will become very easy, because now the vulnerabilities are exposed. Yeah. So women tend to commit more of emotional infidelity than men, while for men it's sexual, because men are more visual. For women, you talk to me nicely, you treat me nicely, I'm game.
And infidelity, most likely it starts when you are a happy family, and then one partner gets out of the boundaries. When one gets out of the boundaries, that's when the unhappiness comes. Mostly families are happy initially. That's why you got married in the first place. Yeah, you got married because you like each other, you love each other. But when infidelity comes in, then those families just break down. And one partner goes to infidelity, there's a possibility that the other one will also go for infidelity. Even if it's not sexual, emotional, there's a possibility. Yeah.
So now that you have brought it up, Phoebe, like in your circumstance, at what year of your marriage can you say that you started suspecting that your partner was unfaithful?
My partner was very faithful to me in the first place. We stayed for around 4 or 5 years. I didn't realize there was anything. We were very close. In fact, I didn't even have a house girl. He used to come home, and I go to school. By then I was a student doing a part-time course. So we were at home all the time. In fact, anytime he had to rush home so that we can stay together. But then things started changing when he started coming late. Sometimes not coming and saying, I've gone somewhere and I'll not be able to make it. So the distance became larger and larger. So finally, through a phone, I was able to realize there was some infidelity. In a good way, you are picking a phone to answer, and then somebody tells you, "Hi, sweetheart." Wow, it's very hurting. And then I asked, "Hello, how are you?" And then the person goes silent at all. So I went confronting, but I didn't get any reply from him. What he told me, "This is just a friend." And I asked, "A normal friend? Yeah, you can call each other sweetheart. Yes, at work or anywhere else." She should have told me that. "My name is this and this. We work with him. I'm a friend. I'm sorry, this is how we call each other." But keeping silent and hanging over the phone is not right. So what I did, I just took the number and stayed with the number for 3 years. 3 years down the line, I still got another message from the same girl. In fact, by then now she was in hospital having an ectopic pregnancy. So I'm told to send money from I had a business. I'm told to send money to go and rescue this girl because she's in danger and they don't have money.
Was the pregnancy your husband's?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. So
but this time had you been going on with your husband as if nothing was happening for these 3 years?
No, there was a big gap creating. There was abuse, there was infidelity. You could see, but I didn't have that evidence to say this is infidelity. So I kept praying and asking God, one day you'll reveal to me. I'm tired of searching for these things. So I just relaxed. 3 years later, I'm called from the hospital. They send me some money. I have a patient in hospital who is very sick. We need to take the patient to the ICU. So I said, "No, this time round I'm not taking the money," because I had realized I've been sending money. They've been enjoying their life together, working hard for them. So I'm keep sending money. They go outings and all those. So later I said, "No, this one today I don't feel like sending. I don't feel comfortable sending." I asked, "Who is that?" He told me, "Don't ask me questions. What you do, send the money." I said, "I'm not sending this time." So I called the relatives around. "Do you know of any of our relatives who is sick in hospital?" "No." "Do you know?" I asked the sisters, the brothers and cousins. Nobody seemed to know who was sick in hospital. So finally what I did, I called one of the cousins. They are very close. But at some point he hung up on me because he didn't want to expose. Because they were together, so much together, so they didn't want to expose each other. So I was also close to the wife of that cousin. The wife worked as a nurse in the same hospital. So when I called the wife, she told me, "Yes, they have informed me. They want me to assist because it's an emergency and nobody is willing to help them. Now that I work there, I can be of help." "What's the name of the patient?" She gave me the name I had gotten 3 years earlier on, 3 years back. And I told her, "Thank you. You've saved my life." That's all I could tell her. Yeah. So that's how the infidelity came. Finally, the girl died.
Oh.
Yeah, she died.
From that pregnancy?
Yeah, from that.
And what was interesting, Phoebe has shared with me that she actually attended the burial. And when she attended the burial, the eulogy, the photos were of the husband and this girl. Happy moments, the happy moments. So in that way, then the infidelity was not just a suspicion, but it was confirmed. And the funeral was almost getting disrupted because they saw her there.
Yeah, they thought I was coming to cause any commotion. No, I was so calm. So calm. I wanted to be there. I didn't want anybody to tell me, there was a funeral and this is what happened. Somebody else will say, "No, it didn't happen." But I wanted to be there in that situation and see. I didn't cause any commotion. I was so calm till the end.
And what happened after? Did he explain it? Because he saw you there and now he was sure that you knew everything. Did he confess or he just kept quiet?
Initially, he kept quiet. In fact, when we came back, he didn't come back home. He went to sleep in the same house where they were staying with the girl.
So let me just ask you to backtrack a little bit, Phoebe. So at this time, had you and your husband still been staying together for these 3 years? Or
Yes.
he was staying with you
Yes.
and staying with her at the same time?
Yes.
So he would come in and out
Yeah.
between the two homes?
Yeah. Of course, he couldn't say, I'm going to someone's house. He'd say, I'm going out, I have some work, I'm going outside town, so I'll come back in 2 days. Yes. So you couldn't imagine he was going there. But the suspects were there. Why are you changing routes? You know, you realize the routes change, the normal routes are changing. The normal time you come home is changing.
And
then
was
your
his family
phone,
aware?
Yes. Not of exactly what was happening, but I had complained to the family so much. Yeah, we had had like 3 or 4 encounters with family meetings, trying to discuss the issues. I'm not comfortable, there's this happening, he comes late, he abuses me. So, but they couldn't take it in. Yeah.
So now, this is such a fascinating story. So in the end, how did this finally end with you and your husband? Was it shortly after the funeral of that girl? Did he now come back because now that other girl was dead? What happened?
After the funeral, we came back. He went to the house where they used to stay. So I came back home. I realized that he wanted to keep quiet and things just move on. But I said, no, this one we have to sit down and talk. So I had to provoke a meeting, a family meeting, and then they came. So when they came, I told them, this is what has happened, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I want to move out of this. Of course, the families cannot allow you to move out. They'll still encourage you, no.
Did you have children with your husband?
By then I had 1 child.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how old was your child at this time?
By that time, my child was 5 years old. 5. Yes.
So it's difficult. It's not just you.
Yeah,
Yes, so go on. Then how did it finally resolve?
What happened, in the meeting, they encouraged me to go back and forgive him. That's what the families do all the time. They'll not allow you, nobody will tell you, no, you can walk out if it's not working. They'll still encourage you, stay there. So I stayed there. I talked to them and I stayed there. So after some time, I got pregnant, I got another child. When the child was, I got pregnant, he himself started treating me differently. It's as if he didn't want this child, and I didn't know why, and he had been asking, we need another child. So I thought this one now is going to solve all the problems. But then he started treating me in a different way. In fact, I almost lost the baby, but I didn't lose the baby. I went to hospital, and it was fine. So what he did, at some point I realized again he had another girl. Yeah, through the phone. The phone was there, I was ironing, and the phone is on the table, and then you see the message coming. Yeah, that's how I realized he had another one. So I came to realize he also used to go to that route where that girl is. You know the routes. This is Jekwat. What do you do in Jekwat every time? You see? Yeah, what are you doing there? And you don't have any business there. So when I realized there was also another girl, I said, no. I've worked for so many years supporting you out there. This one has died, and you come back again. You need me to work hard for another one. I said no. In fact, I stopped working. I had a big business in Karen, a pharmacy. So I stopped working. I said, I'll start from the scratch. If this doesn't work, I'll do what I know I'll do with my hands and support my children, but it doesn't work. So finally we separated. Yeah, when the baby was 8 months old.
Your daughter now.
Yeah, my daughter, 8 months old. We separated. Yeah.
So was it him now who said, I think let's separate, or was it you, or?
Oh, he closed the business. He couldn't manage the business alone. Yeah, so I got a job. Where I was previously working before I opened this business. So he was at home. So at some point, I had no money in the house. and he was not working, he was just there. So I was supporting the family and doing everything from my workplace. So one evening I come from church and I say, we don't have any money. Please see what you can do for us to eat, because it's approaching end month and I don't have any money. Because you drive out. When you drive out, that means you have money for fuel. Where do you get money for fuel? And when you have a car, you can do even a taxi business. Instead of sleeping at home, just go out and do something and bring so that we can eat. He didn't take that kindly. He told me we need to eat. Get food from wherever you. So when I came in the evening, I told him I'm not able to get food. He told me, where do you want me to get the food from? I also told you I don't have. So what I did, I went to the kitchen. You can't miss something in the kitchen for the kids. By then I was staying with my sister because I couldn't even afford getting a house girl. So I went to the kitchen, took some few things that were there, and told my sister, do this, make them for the babies. They will be eating from the small one to the big one. Where the food gets finished, we stop there. So my sister cooks and gives the children, they were taking pumpkin and bluebird and tea. So they ate, they were okay. So I was sleeping, waiting to see if there was some that will remain for everybody to eat. Then he calls me. I went to the bedroom. I didn't hear first, but when he called twice, I went. He told me, where is my food? I told him, I told you there's no food, but the children are eating. If the food remains, we'll be able to share. And that's when he hit me very badly. He hit me and everything changed. So I just screamed, and the babies came in, my sister came in, and they asked what's happening. So that's when he got violent, and then we moved out of the house.
Yeah. And that was the end of the marriage.
That was the end. We slept outside.
Oh, with the children.
Yeah.
And so from Phoebe's story, there are 2 points I can see. One, the one we alluded to earlier on, of there are always issues that lead somebody to commit infidelity, and they need to be tackled. So it appears from the first instance, the issues
were never addressed.
Yes, so it happened again. Number 2, forgiveness, contrary to what people believe, is not that you forgive and you still stay there. Once you forgive, you can either renew the relationship, which is very good, or you can release the relationship. So for Phoebe, it seems to me that she forgave and she released that relationship because there was also violence involved. Yeah.
So one of the things you've said is we need to address the issue. What has led to the infidelity in the first place? Because if you don't address that, chances are it can happen again. Are there other things that we can do in order to have hope after?
I'm looking at it this way as well. In a marriage, both partners, they are predisposed to infidelity. Each of us, you really can't say that it's one person. So we are all prone to infidelity. So looking at it on the side, because Josephine, you asked, what can we do about it? Yes. I can say on the side of, if you're the one who has committed infidelity, it's important to acknowledge and take full responsibility. That I have, and not accuse and say it's because you didn't do. Number 2, it's important to openly discuss and share and disclose fully. Number 3, it's important to forgive without making reference. So don't remind your partner if they disclosed and you forgive them. Don't keep going back. And forgive for the mistake that has been committed now, not for the future. Saying, I am not sure, I'm not what. So, and many times the pain is so much, you need a third party, even a professional counselor, to walk you through it, because it's very, very painful. It's very devastating. And, disclosure is good because it will keep you. Your spouse will look and say, when this and this happens, there's a likelihood. So it's always important. And there are couples who have emerged stronger after infidelity. Yeah, but open communication, as Debbie said, is very important.
Open communication.
Yeah. And also just to say family is good, But many times from my experience, I have seen a third party, somebody who is not related, maybe a best couple, a close friend, a professional counselor, a pastor, would be better placed than the family, because the family, they're already too close. And so when there's a case of violence, now that complicates it further, because it's better to be safe. And many times, you know, when children grow up in dysfunctional homes, they are worse than when the partners are apart. Because when the partners are together and there's abuse, there's infidelity, we give them the wrong impression of marriage. And there's a likelihood that they will also end up the same, being victims or being the perpetrators. So it's always very, very important to seek counsel, and also to know when your life is in danger, you need to be safe. Be safe first before anything else.
Forgiveness is very important. Sometimes we say, no, I'm not the one who wronged. I'm not the one who is on the wrong side. But remember, when you forgive, you release yourself, and peace comes. Forgiveness comes also with prayers. Be a prayerful man or woman, so that God will help you and give you the strength, because without forgiveness, your life will not have a meaning. Forgiveness is very important.
The first time I came out and spoke about this thing to one of my sisters, that was my highest moment. It's as if I removed a big luggage from my back and put it down. But initially, I couldn't speak about it because I knew society will tell me, no, you can't do that. You have to go back to your husband. You have to go back to your family. So when I said I'll not listen to society and I'll listen to my God, that's when things changed.
It's very difficult to deal with the pain that comes from adultery in a covenant relationship. And the only person who can help in your individual healing is God. He's the only one who can give you even the ability to forgive, the ability to want to build a future after having gone through this. And he's also the only person who can change the heart of that person, because the two of you have to come together and renew that commitment to make things better for the future. And so I say, just lean on God. Thank you, ladies, for being open about this difficult topic. We hope that you have been blessed, and we continue to pray over you. Those who are unmarried, we pray over you wherever God is leading you. Those who are in your marriages, we pray that God will be the center of your marriage. God bless you.